Welcome to WesPregame. I'm Kate Gibble, and we know you're all very antsy for tonight's 9:23 p.m. game, but we have a lot of information for you tonight about what happened this past weekend at Wesleyan. To get us started off is Brian Katten.
Yes, and Louisville, Michigan fans, enjoy. So quickly, we're going to start with track and field. And the reason we're going to start with track and field is because we had a Wesleyan record set on the men's side, and we have a NESCAC Performer of the Week on the women's side, so let's give them their due. Brian Marsh took a hike down to Princeton University to compete in a Sam Howell Invitational along with Skylar Cummins. Both ran in the 10K, and Brian came up with a 30:23:31 time, eclipsing the previous mark set by All-American Joe Mahoney back in 1995, about 9.5 seconds above Brian's time. So a great performance there. He only finished 13th, but that's okay because he's the 7th ranked runner in Division III right now, and he was running against mostly Division I opponents. So he used the impetus of the faster runners to breed his time up, and Coach John Crook was saying he was on pace to break 30, but next time he will. On the women's side, they competed as well as the bulk of the men's team at the Yellow Jacket Invitational at AIC, and there Julia Mark won her second race in 2 weeks. She won the 1,500 meter last week at Coast Guard. This week she wins at the Yellow Jacket in the 5K with a really nice time of 17:30.91. She's the 13th fastest runner in Division III at the 5K presently, and she was honored by the NESCAC with its Performer of the Week for that great performance. She ran in a field of 33 runners, and 14 of them were Division I. So again, when you win in that kind of a field, you're getting the job done. So great. Actually, Hannah Zimmerman, her classmate, was behind her by 20 seconds but finished second. So a good performance there overall. The women were 5th, the men were 8th in that particular event at AIC. Moving on, we're going to touch with crew right now. Both had great performances in Worcester against traditional New England rivals, WPI. On the women's side, WPI, Colby, Middlebury, and UMass Amherst. Wesleyan's women and men were both victorious in a 5-team race. The men winning by 2 seconds over WPI, the women by about 1.6 seconds against WPI. Women are now 9-0 in dual races, and the men are 7-2 overall, but they are 5-0 in New England, and we'll hear more about that, I'm sure, later on in the show. We'll catch now with baseball. We'll hear a little bit more about that too, but baseball on a great tear. Swept Williams, first time since 2000, took all 3 games, and not just took all 3 games, but won by margins of 16-7, 11-0 behind Jeff Plout's 5-hit shutout, and also won 9-1. So not just wins, but convincing wins, and a great start both to the Little 3 at 3-0, and now 5-1 in NESCAC West play. So they're in the driver's seat, looking like Amherst and Wesleyan may go down to the wire to see who wins the NESCAC West, and I believe that's who will be hosting the NESCAC Championship this year. On the women's side with softball, they went 2-2, surprisingly lost to Coast Guard, had a lead, got away from them. They lost 6-4, and that stopped the win streak, which had tied the school record at 12. We were hoping to get to that lucky 13th, didn't quite happen. But what did happen is a couple of wins out of 3 contests against Williams, 3 one-run games against Williams. Wesleyan took the first 2-1 as Sue Pardo threw a 2-hitter and gave up only 1 unearned run. Then the Cardinals won 4-3 in the first game of a doubleheader behind Laura Getchel's 3-hitter. She had a no-hitter going through 5 2/3, gave up 3 hits at the end. It cost her a few runs, but the Cardinals had gotten enough to pull that win out. And then the Cardinals stormed back from a 6-0 deficit, got it to 6-6 in the second game of the doubleheader, but fell 7-6. But 5-1 as well, having swept Hamilton, also in good position with the NESCAC playoff situation. So we'll see how it all comes out for them. We've got some men's lacrosse here to talk about. We've got some men's lacrosse players to talk about men's lacrosse. We're going to say that they beat their 4th non-conference opponent by a little score of 16-3, 67-6. The Cardinals have outscored their 4 non-conference rivals so far this year. And then against Colby, an amazing victory in the last second of the contest, storming back from an 11-7 deficit in the last 11 minutes to win 13-12. And we'll let the boys talk how exciting they saw that event take place, and we may actually see it. Women's lacrosse lost a couple of contests in NESCAC play, losing to Amherst 15-6. In that game, Kaylin Berger had her 4th hat trick of the year. Looking good, 19 goals for her on the season because she added 1 at Colby in a 12-3 loss to the Mules. Mules ranked 6th in the country. Amherst was ranked 10th, so This is the way the NESCAC goes, constantly playing nationally ranked teams, giving the best performance the Cardinals can, but just facing outrageously good competition. Kaylin Berger, 19 goals on the season. She's at 95 for her career. Kayla Ellman also at 95. Again, I'm loving this race to see who's the next to get to 100 points, and they will be the 13th Cardinal, whoever does that, and I'm sure they'll both get there, but we'll see who gets there first. It's kind of like who's the first twin born. What else do we have here? Men's women's tennis ventured to Middlebury, their first match in 3 weeks after their Florida trip, facing 9th-ranked team in the country, both on the men's women's side. Women lost 9-0, understandably. The men took a couple of matches, both in the doubles play, as the number 2 doubles team of senior Jeff Lagun and freshman Michael King won for the 5th straight time this spring, so they're undefeated at 5-0 at 2 doubles. And we also got a win from a couple of freshmen at number 1 doubles, Zach Brent and Sam Radowski, winning 8-5 in their match. Jeff Lagun and Michael King also won 8-5, and Middlebury very, very capable. So winning any matches against a team of their caliber certainly is something to be proud of. So that covers tennis, crew, baseball, softball, men's and women's lacrosse, track and field. Golf hasn't started yet. They'll be starting this weekend.
Well, great. Thank you, Brian. As you